Alright guys, excited to do another art project with you today. Today we're going to be making a Stegosaurus. So for this you're going to need your paper plate, you'll need your cardboard tube, and watercolors and markers and the tape that we gave you. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your paper plate and you are going to cut it in half, just like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you are perfect it'll help. Just gonna cut straight across. All right, these are going to be the sides of your Stegosaurus, and eventually you're gonna put it together just like this. But first, before you do that, what I like to do is I'm going to cut little spikes on the back of it. So you're gonna go back and forth across your Stegosaurus. You're just gonna create these spikes. So a Stegosaurus was a dinosaur a long time ago. And they had all these spikes on their backs to protect them from other predators. So you can do them as big or as little as you want. I like them about this size. All right, almost finished the one side here. All right, so see how I've cut little spikes in the back of this? You're gonna do the same thing with the other one. They don't have to line up, so you can just do them as big or as small as you want. That guy. Just go back and forth with your scissors. All right, so there you have these are the sides of your Stegosaurus that will eventually go together like that, like a taco. Before we put them together, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to paint or draw on the sides of your dinosaur. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use watercolors on the sides of mine. So I'm going to do mine green, because whenever I think of dinosaurs I think of green, but you can do red, you can do yellow. Now it's going to be very light, but I just want to do this quickly so I can get a color on here. It'd be good for you to have some sort of paper underneath of your dinosaur so you're not getting paint on anything, but my table's dirty so it doesn't matter. All right, so I'm just using my watercolors to give this a nice tinge of color. Nice little green. All right, so there I have that light tinge of green, and the more layers you do, the darker it'll get. So you can do more if you want or less. Maybe I'll do a little bit of blue on the side here just for fun, just to mix some colors around. So once you've got that, see how I added some little colors right there? You can see that's laid in. And then if you want to, you can go back in with like markers, and you could do designs, or you can just add to it however you want. Now, normally you should wait a little longer for this to dry, but I'm just gonna do it right now. Remember, you can do any colors you want. You can use markers, you can use watercolors. Just gonna try and get some of that in there. So that's what it might look like if you use watercolors. If you want to use markers for a whole thing, you can just use the side of your marker, create stuff. Or a little fun thing you can do is you can use marker and then go over it with water and it'll make it spread. I'll show you how to do that in 1 second. So I just did a little bit of green on his spikes there. If you want to, you can take just some water in your paintbrush and you can actually just dab it and it'll make it spread. You can kind of see how it's taking that marker and just spreading it across there. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. These are washable markers, so water will make it spread a little bit, which is pretty cool. Or you could do like dots and circles, like I'm doing right here. All right, so I added some dots there. So just for fun, I'm gonna take my water, I'm gonna spread it around. And you can see how the water is just gonna spread those dots around just like that. And you can do it mix it with your watercolors a little bit if you want to. But like as I've said before, this is your art piece. So you can do whatever you want. Maybe you want to leave part of it white, and that's okay too. Alright, so there I've got it's a little different than the other side. This one's more blue and green. This one's a little more green than blue. So, what you're gonna want to do is once you've finished designing those, is you're gonna take the sides and you're gonna tape them together. So you're gonna take one side, just lay it on the ground, take the other side, put it right on top. And you really want the bottoms to line up. These bottom pieces right here should line up, so it should be pretty flat. All right, so you're gonna take your tape. I'm gonna cut this little end off here. Take your tape, you're gonna cut a piece. All right. You're gonna tape the ends together, just like this. Just like that. And if you have a little extra sticking over, you can just snip it right off. You can do the same thing on the other side. Except on this side, I'm gonna tape it through the bottom. There we go. Just like that. And it's invisible tape, so you shouldn't be able to see it too much. And then I would take a small piece of tape and you're gonna do the top, but you don't want it to be too big, so I'm doing a piece about this big. I don't know if you can see that or not. Then I'm gonna tape the top spikes together. And with those 3 pieces of tape, your body should be pretty solid. It shouldn't be falling apart. All right, so once you have your body together, next you're gonna do your legs. You're gonna make your legs out of this cardboard tube right here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna cut the cardboard tube in half. So I just take my scissors. This might be a little hard, but once you have a hole right here, you can stick your scissors in and you're just gonna cut around. And try to keep them as even as you can. if you're able to. All right. There we go. All right, once you have those, you're gonna do the same thing you did with the legs. You can either use watercolor or marker. Marker is gonna give you a lot darker color. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give him blue legs, blue and purple legs for fun. So I'm just gonna paint this real quick. Do some blue. Make sure you have something underneath your project so so you don't get paint everywhere. And I'll add a little bit of purple to it. It's not doing too much. All right, I'm mainly gonna stick with blue. The purple's not showing up. All right, you're gonna let that dry. Do the other one. Do a little more purple on this one. Yeah, it's gonna be darker. There we go. You're gonna wanna let these dry before you do the next step, otherwise you'll get watercolor all over you. Should dry pretty fast. All right, so once you have these are gonna be your legs. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna cut 4 small slits on the north, south, east, and west side of them. So the top, the bottom, and the left and the right, and the side to side. So you're gonna do one at the top, a little slit at the very top, one at the bottom, side, and on each of the sides, one at the other side. So we'll be okay right there, right there. Now this might be a little tricky. Just follow along. So the sides of the dinosaur are gonna go in these slits right here that are right across from each other. Stick the side of the Stegosaurus, this part out a little bit. And right here, you are going to stick one side of the dinosaur right in there. And then same thing on the other side and do the same thing. Take him, right there. Okay, so you can see I have one leg of my dinosaur. See, I have one leg right here. Then I'll do the same thing with my other leg. All right, I just bend these pieces out so it's a little easier on me. I'm gonna stick his back leg on. All right, so once you have those legs on, if you would like to make them a little sturdier, you can add a piece of tape on the sides. So I'll just do a piece right here for you. I will do one more. All right, so those legs are a little sturdier now. So now we have the body and we have the 2 legs, but we need to do the head and the tail. So you will get your other plate and you are going to cut out the tail. So the tail is gonna be this long, windy shape. So what you're gonna do is you're going to, starting from the side, you're gonna cut this tail. See that shape I cut right there? Then just straight up, that'll be your tail. And then if you want on the tail, you can add some spikes. So I'm gonna cut some spikes into the top of it. And using markers or watercolors, you're gonna color this thing on both sides, just like you did your body and your legs. So I'm gonna do a little bit of green here on the bottom And then I'm going to use water and my paintbrush to spread it around. So I made that line nice and dark. Then I'll take my watercolor brush, just use that to spread the color. You can do the same thing for the other side as well. All right, so there's your tail. And you're gonna wanna let that dry. I'm just gonna blow mine dry. Take another piece of tape. You're gonna use 2 pieces of tape for this one. 1 and 2. You're going to tape your tail on to the body. All right, so I'm gonna put my tail right here, like that. Use my second piece of tape on the back. My cardboard or my plate is still a little wet, so the tape isn't holding as well, but if you let it dry, it should hold just fine. All right, so I have my tail attached there. Move them up a little bit, actually. There we go. All right, so once you got it firmly attached, you're gonna do your head. And you're just gonna follow the same idea. And the head is going to be a neck and then just a little circle at the end, a little oval. So the way that I'm gonna do this is you're gonna keep following the edge. I'm gonna use the edge of where I cut his tail off at. You're gonna go thick to thin, and then a little oval for his head. All right, so very simple, not very complicated. I'm gonna add some spikes to his neck because this guy was covered in spikes. So now I have my head, my neck, and my spikes. You are going to color him the same way you did the body and the tail. Now, if you want, you can draw a face on him. Using your markers, you can give him an eye or a mouth or anything like that. I'm going to give him a little eyeball. All right, let me take a look at him real quick. All right, and then you're going to attach the head wherever you want. Spreading a little bit. That's okay, I can fix them later. All right, so you're gonna take your tape, you're gonna tape your head on. Oh, dropped my tape. Same way you did the other parts. You're just gonna use a piece of tape here at the top. You're just gonna tape there. You got one side taped, you're gonna tape the other side. All right, so now I have his legs, his head, his tail, his body. So guys, this is my Stegosaurus that I've finished. I have taped his tail, his legs, and his head together, so he's all coming together in one piece. If you want to, you can add other colors at the end. You can draw more stuff on, you can draw eyes, you can give him spots or stripes, or add whatever you want to make him your own. But I hope you guys had fun with this project and that you learned something new and that you had a good time making your own little Stegosaurus. And I'll be back with you guys on Friday to show you our next project, which will be a different animal that we're gonna create. So enjoy the rest of camp, and I will see you later this week, guys. Thanks.